never know who you're gonna meet and at what point. You just never know. So always be good to everybody. That's a lesson I learned on that day. And from then on, Bob got my number from somewhere and we started talking. We became friends. I would safely say I was one of his oldest friends. So we would talk on the phone, and one day he invited me over to his house and I invited him over to my house. And it was like that for a while. We started, developing a great relationship. One day he calls me and says, I'm gonna put together a group and we can meet every Tuesday, for instance. And we could just hang out, talk about Kenya, talk about the future, talk about politics, talk about anything outside of work. And he literally put together this amazing group of guys. I mean, look, you look at from Bharat Thakur, the CEO of Scan Group, Patrick Kwaku, the group CEO, Radio Africa, Peter Kenneth, well-known businessman, former politician, former assistant minister for treasury, well-known people. Ali Khan Sachu, the well-known investment banker, Lamin, worked for Standard Bank at the time. All these guys, he was with Joshua Oigara, Group CEO, KCB, the youngest in our group. Although everyone thought I was the youngest, Joshua is the youngest. And Bob put together this group and would meet very often. Would meet almost every Tuesday if we could, those who were around. And there was a couple of other people as well. And we formed a great group. We called ourselves the Boys, even though we were all, much older than boys, but we were the boys. And we would meet year after year. Bob was CEO, Bob was doing his thing, and Bob was the most amazing kind of guy, most amazing kind of leader. I mean, one day he would meet with kings and princes and dine with them. The next day he's riding the matatu to Huruma and Mathare and Dandora with people like Giuliani, hanging out. That's the kind of leader that Bob was. This man was incredible. And he knew that Kenya was his home. He knew that he belonged here. And he made sure that he did things according to what his vision was. And his vision was a corrupt-free, transparent Kenya. He knew this. And he was a great guy, and he went about it. Now, 2017, he's diagnosed with acute myeloid lymphoma. That's blood cancer. And he's rushed to hospital in London. He spent the next 9 months there inside an insulated room. He gets out of it, he fights it, and he comes back home, but the thing comes back again, and he kept fighting. Bob was a fighter all the way to the very end. One day, I remember this very like it was yesterday. It was about the middle of June. I was busy doing, remember that show, East Africa's Got Talent? We were busy doing judging at the M-Pesa Foundation, way down on exit 16 from the Thika Superhighway. We're busy judging these entries. And we had like 4 crazy days from Saturday, Sunday, Monday. This was the Tuesday, the 4th day of judging. And I was knackered. It was about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the evening. I was knackered and I was saying, goodness, we just finished. I want to go home and sleep because the next morning I was going to do radio as always. At 4 a.m. I was going to wake up. So I get in my car and I see a phone call right there. It's Peter Kenneth, PK, call him. PK says, listen, Jeff, you need to come to Bob's house right now. I said, Peter, I'm tired, man. There's no way I'm coming up. We had 4 days of judging. I'm exhausted. I'm going home. He says, Jeff, I'm not going to tell you again. Come to Bob's house right now. Peter has never done anything like this before. I mean, Peter is usually laid back and he's cool. And if you tell him something, he'll take it. But this day, there's something about that tone that I said, you know what? I better go. Down the Thika Superhighway, exit out, come over Wayaki Way, get on the bypass, end up at Bob's house. It was about 9:30. Then it took about an hour, about 9:30. The guys had already eaten. They were settling down, relaxing. And I walk in. And as usual, I'm, because I'm known to use 4 little words every now and then. And I'm like, guys, what the? Right? And I'm, what the? And they're all sitting there. They're all really chill. They're quiet and sober. And I sense there's something wrong here. And it was Bob. Bob was the one who said, look, thanks for coming over, Jeff. I was just telling the guys that I don't have much longer to live. Bob saying, I said, what? What the? And I begin my expletives. And I sit down and he explains. Says the cancer has come back, it's overwhelming, and I don't think I'm going to make it through the month of July. And everybody's there sitting quietly, no one's saying anything. In the meantime, Bob had reached out into his cabinet and Bob was a whiskey collector, so he had like about 162 bottles of whiskey from around the world. And he reached into the cabinet, and you could just imagine a cabinet full of whiskeys from around the world. He reached out and took out a special bottle. And he poured it and gave each and every one of us. Some of us don't even drink whiskey. He says, guys, let's drink to this. So we drank, and we were trying to take it all in, and it was very overwhelming because we always, 2 years before that, he had beat this thing. He had been in hospital for so long. He had defeated this cancer. But that day, it looked like he was really sober and very succinct about the way forward. So we sat and we drank that whiskey, and we chilled for a bit, and my tiredness, my fatigue all disappeared in an instant. And we finished that, and we all walked out, and we went our separate ways. And then this was a Tuesday, right? So the same Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days later, I'm chilling with my mom and my sister Shiro. We're having lunch at the club, and I get a phone call, and I see it's Bob. And I pick it up and I say, hey, Bob, what's up? He says, look, you guys around? Are you around? Can you come over? I said, Bob, I'm having lunch with my mom and my sister, so can I pass? He says, look, it would be really good if you came. That's how Bob was. He would just say one word and you literally wake up. So he said, look, it would be really good if you came over. So I told my mom and sis, I said, listen, I have to go over to Bob's. Do you mind? I'll be about an hour or two. Just give me some time. And they said, go. Took off, straight to Bob's. As I get there, everyone is there. PK is there, PQ is there, Bharat is there, Joshua is there. They all show up. I'm saying, wow. And Bob, as usual, meets us at the door. He's at the door. He meets us, we walk in, and we could tell he's having trouble with his back. He was having major back problems. And we said, listen, Bob, are you okay? He says, yeah, my back is killing me, but it's okay. And he walked us all the way in, and we sit down, and we chill.